Cheering my first game and what it felt like. Wow. So my first game ever would have been fall of 2002. That would have been my first high school game. I don't really remember that one. My first college game would have been fall of 2003. So yeah, don't really remember a lot about that game either. I do remember, and obviously it's a little more recent, my first NFL game, my first game with the Baltimore Ravens. It would have been August of 2018. So I remember that game. I remember being very mentally prepared. I remember being very physically prepared. I think the thing that I hadn't anticipated was how emotionally unprepared I was, because I think my emotions I had a lot of feelings going into that game, looking back. It was the first game, kind of coming out of retirement. It was my first time cheering a football game since 2013, so it was 5 years. And I remember just being very excited, wanting to prove myself to not just my teammates, but internally, like I'm capable of doing this. And I do remember almost dropping my first stunt. I remember going up behind my partner, grabbing her waist. Allison, if you're watching this, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember going toss hands, and I remember almost dropping it, and it didn't happen. After that, I remember the game going very smoothly. It was a very smooth game after that, and then and the rest of that season was incredible. So yeah, that was definitely my first game that I remember. First game day experience for an organization I remember. But yeah, I do wish I could remember my first high school game and my first college game. I think that just kind of goes to show, when you have these opportunities, when you're doing something for the first time, really kind of take a minute to take it in and live in that experience, because it is a little disheartening when you can't remember those things. But I do remember that first game and that first stunt I almost dropped. So that was my first game day experience and what it felt like.